It's time, I think, for the next part of the Victorian project, but also, perhaps, I can do something for another hobby as well, at the same time. Hello, it's Icy. That's right, I'm back again with another sewing project, as opposed to any of the other sort of projects that do pop up on this channel occasionally. So, it's time, I think, to actually make a Victorian style-ish adjacent jacket, jacket, to go with my costume. But I do want to incorporate one of my other hobbies, fandoms, once again, computer gaming, into this jacket as well. Now, I also play the Elder Scrolls Online and have for the last 10 years. And coming up soon-ish, in April 2024, is the 10-year anniversary. And as I made a Starfield jacket, link in the corner, I really should make a jacket, a coat, something that celebrates the game I've been playing for the last 10 years because I love it and it's an amazing game and I've had the most wonderful time in it. So, it being a fantasy-ish kind of, sort of, well, yes, game, it does actually kind of tie in better with the idea of Victorianism, the Victorian style. There are, in fact, a number of in-game costumes that actually do hit that Victorian note, especially for, obviously, the vampires. This, however, is going to have notes of the race of Ultima, or the High Elves. And I think that should, together, play really nicely. The Ultima style is also hits notes of, I guess, the Art Nouveau period, so a little after Victorian, sort of hitting Edwardian, but I think we can just stick the two ideas together. I'm not trying to be completely historically accurate in any of this, really, but I am trying to, it's kind of history bounding, but extra. Once again, as per the Starfield jacket, I absolutely want to be able to wear this jacket just to work, if I ever work in the city again, if I have to go into the actual office, or, you know, out to dinner, or any of those kind of things as well. I want this jacket not to just be, like, so historic that it doesn't blend with my other wardrobe, if that makes sense. So we do want this to both fit in my wardrobe that I can wear, you know, just out. I don't want to say every day, because most of the time I'm sitting in my house in front of the computer, and it still fits with all of this work I've put together for this kind of historic themed outfit that I have still not worn and left the house in. So this video is going to be in this project is going to be in 3 separate parts. The first part is, and I've already done it, and I'm going to show you the results here. Is to actually design the jacket, basically. Design the style, design how it's going to look together. I did this with my Twitch chat on stream, and in the same way that I did for the Starfield jacket, and I got some really good ideas. It really didn't turn out the way I was expecting. I was expecting it to go down a completely different path. I'd had a little think beforehand, got some ideas, just did a quick sketch in pencil, and then as I'm drawing it on stream with people, giving suggestions, and then suddenly the whole thing coalesced into something I wasn't expecting, which was the high elf style. I was expecting it to go down a completely different route, and it didn't, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing this now. And that is so wildly satisfying. It was fabulous. But anyway, as you can see from the final picture, what we've got is a very Victorian fitted coat. with large swoops. At the back as well. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a little while, you know there are actually multiple things that I have made that have lines like that. So I originally, back in the day, oh God, putting a video up every 2 weeks or so does really make things go like in a long distance ago time-wise, but maybe, I guess last year, made a vest sloper. So something that fitted me nominally, well, pretty well. I've still got problems with it, honestly, but we fix it as we go. That then also got turned into a vest with like super slopey curves at the back. So I have that pattern. The original sloper also got turned into after that, the Ren Fair vest. So that means I've got a pattern where the front seams are actually really diagonal and got changed. So that's good. So I can use that one too. And then it also obviously got turned into the Starfield jacket pattern, which I also have, which is pretty good. It works as a jacket. We've got the collars, collar, the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those basically 4 individual patterns and turn those into a new pattern for this jacket. The sleeves obviously will need to have more volume than the Starfield ones, which are really sort of set down. Maybe bring it in, definitely give it some puff. And obviously I need all of those dramatic swoops in the front and the back of the jacket. The other thing I need to work out is the collar, like sort of the triangular sort of collar section. That is going to be removable. So I'm going to have to work out a way to just sort of attach it around the neckline, but take it off, because that's the bit that both makes it very extra, and that's the bit that's going to have the specific Elder Scrolls Online themed stuff on it. So I'll have the collar. If I take off the collar, it's going to be a very, very fancy Victorian style jacket. Put the collar back on and it's like, oh, no, I see what you're doing here. Okay, this is Elder Scrolls Online themed. So once I have a proper mock-up out of calico, then the next video is actually going to be decorating. I'm going to use something called, we'll go into this in the next video, called soutache, or Russian braid, which is a very fine braid with sort of a flat braid with a line down the center. I have got myself hold of a whole bunch of, I guess really technically vintage soutache, 50 meters in white for $4. I have found it to purchase, I'd already purchased a little bit, 10 meters actually, in black, 90 cents a meter, which is actually very reasonable. So already had a bit. But I'm thinking, and the white stuff does appear to be rayon, so we should be able to dye it. So that's part of the next one. Also, I've never sewn with soutache, and also I have some I need to replicate the Elder Scrolls Online logo, and then be able to sew it on soutache. That sounds like a ridiculous job. We see how that goes. I don't know if that's going to work. And it's also like, should I make the mock-up or should I try and do this first? Honestly, I think we're just going to make the jacket anyway. I don't know if the logo is going to work. I really, really don't know. Anyway, there's all sorts of other fancy curly, I need to work out some nice leafy sort of designs. We're going to keep it in that kind of Art Nouveau swoop sleeves type of theme. So that'll be the second video. And then the third video will of course be actually putting everything together. So, you know, and we'll see. And then however tricky bits for like collars and adding collars, and am I going to flatline it, what needs stiffening, all the rest of it. It will be, the majority of it, or large sections of it, will actually be in this fabric. I do have some more of this fabric left, more than I thought actually. So I should have enough to actually put together the majority in yeah, this fabric. I am thinking about whether the swooped sections I make in a different color for contrast. I have some other nice, like, sort of brocadey stuff. Or, you know, for example, if I put black soutache on, like, maybe dark purple or some, I don't know. We're going to see with that bit. That's still to be evolved after we do a whole bunch of tests and experiments and different things. So the first step is obviously to go ahead and try and make a pattern. Just wanted to show you where I keep my calico because it seems thematically appropriate for this video. I've been kind enough to be sent a lot of Elder Scrolls Online gear and stuff and merchandise, and earlier this year, in honor of the Necrom chapter release, Bethesda Australia and New Zealand and Southeast Asia sent me a whole bunch of super cool stuff in this amazing Elder Scrolls themed box, which looks like a giant book and is so my vibe. And so I keep my calico in here because it is just the right size to fit in my vintage antique. I think, does it get to antique? I don't know the difference in the years. I think it might actually count as antique. So all of my scraps of calico that I reuse for smaller bits, as well as the big bunches in here. Okay, so the whole plan about how to make the pattern for this jacket has changed because I started drawing it up and I got really confused as to all the swoops and where they were hitting and what part of the body they were, where the waistline. I was like matching pattern pieces together and it totally wasn't working. So I thought, I guess what I'll do is just remake the base sloper pattern again and then draw lines on it, which I've done before. In fact, I did previously because, good job, I see, I hadn't actually chopped up the one that I used to make the Starfield jacket. This is the Starfield jacket one. So I just made a sleeve pattern, added a bunch of volume to try and get the puff idea. So, and then the plan is to actually draw on this. I don't think you can see it in this line. You can see there's the pencil line here that I put in originally for the Starfield one. Because the Starfield one was meant to be a more boxy kind of vibe, I didn't put the front darts in here. So I've added those in, which were already drawn on. It's just that I forgot it originally. One thing I've noticed though, there's not enough bust room in this, and I don't know what's going on there. So I'm gonna, yeah, like do I can't remember what the phrase is called, but basically you chop up and then you move the pattern pieces around to add more bust room. So I will do that as well. And then the plan, I'm just going to draw lines on here pretty much where I want the swoops to be, and then lay it all out, chop out those lines, turn them into pattern pieces. I think that will give me the most reliable kind of, the most reliable result pretty much. I did remember that there is a problem with the original pattern where the back of the neck was too high. So I chopped that down, so that's now sitting in the right spot. So let's talk about the sleeve. Now I just took the existing sleeve and then added a big bunch of room on it. I know that this is not the way you're meant to actually change that to add volume. There's a whole thing where you put slices in and you spread the pattern out and then you tape it into place and stuff. I didn't do that. I probably should have, but I didn't. We didn't do that. So I just added a bunch of volume and then sewed in the end on the outside of the actual sort of thing. So in general, I think there's enough puff here at the top. So this top measurement I think is sufficiently long, so that's fine. What's missing, however, if I stand like this, you can see the point of my shoulder here. And what that means is, I'm assuming, I think that's what that means, is there's not enough dimension this way. So what I'm going to do, but as you can see from the front, it looks fine. There's not like a weird kind of sort of bump here. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, add more volume on this. So basically take the pattern out and kind of draw it more, I guess, or not square, but like bring out this kind of line. But the rest looks good. I did end up using the single piece sleeve as opposed to the two-piece sleeve. And the reason I did that is because I do plan to basically slice all the way down the middle and then add like replace like a triangle section of the top and then put the soutache in that as well. So I figured it's just going to be easier if I just use the one-piece sleeve and then I don't need to worry about super complicated stuff. My very 80s sleeve pattern has far too much room, so I've actually sliced down to there. So the whole, I basically draw a whole new sleeve probably, or just tape on the existing one to like bring it down to something that's like going to look right. So yeah, I think this will be fine. So the idea is this is going to be sliced down. It's going to have a collar that sweeps down as well. Yeah, need to add more bust room. The rest is okay. It's not long enough. Here is the point where I want the hips to sit, but the front and the back need to swoop down more. So I think I can just wing that on the pattern, just draw that on. There is meant to be at the back, it's meant to come, like the back swoop comes to the waist and then is not attached sort of for the bottom section, and the other sections should overlap underneath. So I don't have to be too precise with how it fits over the butt, because it should sort of, yeah, it's separate pieces, so it should actually just sit over the butt properly, pretty much. So, yeah, so I think we can go from here. So that's the plan. Just, yeah, add more room that way, break it up, add some swoops, cut the actual pattern into pieces, and then we see how we go. Actually, this is the thing I want to make sure that I do, and I'm noting this here so I hopefully remember. One swoop is going to come from here down, sort of, and then that means that I want the triangle section to meet at the same spot, which I think should be okay, because I think what I can do is basically make it so the gather starts above there. So it should be relatively easy to make those 2 points meet. So yeah, one's going to have a start point here. This is from the start, this line I've got on here is from the Starfield jacket, but to be honest, I don't mind that. I might possibly have an additional triangle here. There are extant examples that have like another triangle at the top here, and I could add further soutache. I'm adding a lot of work for myself every time I say, oh, I could put more soutache in there. It's maybe a bad idea. So that's the plan. We're going to try some stuff and see how we go, what we end up with. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Okay, I think we have something. Oh, it's very, you can't even see it, can you? Great. You know, there is one problem with using calico for mock-ups, and that is whenever I put on one of these calico jackets, I feel like a businesswoman from the mid-2000s, and it's really disconcerting. It doesn't give me the vibe I'm going for. Anyway, okay. Oh, you can't even see. All right, so the diagonals here, I think that looks pretty good. So it's this top one that seems to hit about the right spot. So here's the line here. So no gather up to this point. The gather goes up, and that way I should be able to match these seam spots here and also at the back. Next one starts in under the underarm, so both at the front and the back you won't be able to see that there's like, you know, the join will be hidden, which is great, and that sweeps down and then meets in with this sort of, the original seam of course is very vertical, but this is going to be quite diagonal past, you know, past the apex roughly, and this should pass pretty much over the apex, and then it should sweep down in a diagonal. So, and then, yeah, so then we've got another couple of lines. So I might actually have more than on the original design, but it sort of works out this way, I think. And so we've got a last one here just above the waist, where I think I should be able to like hide a pocket, in much the same way actually as the the Raven vest has a pocket hidden in that kind of like decorative seam that goes across the waist. So I think that should be okay. Now I don't know if you can see this diagonal here. This is the rough line that the sort of second collar piece, like the drapey collar piece, should be. Same at the back. So that way I can kind of work it so it sits, matches with the underlying patterns, but then has its own flair as well. Oh, which I've forgotten actually. I've forgotten actually something. So I've drawn off the collar here, but actually I had planned to have more of a neck design as well, where there's going to be some more soutache to actually break. I think the original plan is the collar, the entire collar, it's not going to come, it's actually going to be one piece and swoop down, and then have to check that. Oh no, sorry, I think there's meant to be a small like swoopy triangle at the back actually, right in the center, so I'll draw that in after. So I think that works. So the next step is to unfortunately take this two pieces. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut it in half actually, and then keep this side, so that way I've got some like a sort of a semi-finished thing that I can still use for patterning later maybe. And then just cut all this lot into segments. I'll just unpick the sleeve, which will be easier. I have drawn up a wider sleeve pattern, so I'll just sort of fit it on. So I think the easiest way will actually be to like cut it out and then like lay the bottom, the non-gathered sections down, and then draw what's left pretty much. So anyway, so the next step here is to turn this into a bit of a pattern actually. I have a design. This video is slightly delayed. Part of the design, the pattern itself, was done before I went away for the wedding. And then so we've got like, I think it's like 19 pieces of pattern here. Here's hoping this works. I mean, the good thing is, because I started from a outfit that nominally fitted me, hopefully, and then drew on that and then cut that up, hopefully we should get something that fits. Here's hoping. Then I had to do soutache. So the idea was I would take the pattern pieces or copies of the pattern pieces that I wanted to do the design on and take that away with me and then do the design while I was away. Did I do that? Absolutely not. No, not at all. So then I spent a surprising amount of time trying to develop those designs at home with that big Pinterest board. It was really hard. What happened time and time again was, as I was drawing this up, I would like do a design and then go, oh, no, wait, I've like missed the fundamental idea of this, is that it actually has to be a continuous piece of strings. You can't come up and do a design and then come down and then start again and then put another design overlap. It really should be a single piece of string that goes the whole design back again, overlaps, comes back down again. So it was actually extremely helpful to look at extant soutache designs and other soutache designs that people, you know, not even soutache designs, just swoop type designs that other people had drawn, so that I could look at that and go, oh, right, okay, so if you turn the corner here and go down a bit, and then you can loop back up here and then loop it up again. So I think we have a series of, I mean, they're relatively simple. We're not talking about super duper duper complicated designs here. They're all of roughly a theme. They might not end up quite like this. That's going to be the next video. We're going to do next video, one after that. Anyway, one of the videos is actually just going to be on trying to do these. The most complicated one is obviously the back collar. So I've only drawn the soutache on half of this. So this will sit up. Put it on back. Imagine this, but the other way around. So the shoulder piece, I think, is okay. I think that should be fine. But then I got to do this on the back, which is a simplified Elder Scrolls Online logo. I mean, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? I don't know how I'm going to do this. That's Future Icy's problem, really. Yeah. So, yeah, Future Icy, she's going to have a wonderful time. Good luck to her. So, this, kind of a not the most interesting video. I don't know. We're setting this up for complications in the future. So, yes, we have a pattern. We have some soutache designs. And so then I need to turn that into it. So, the next video of this project, there might be another one in between. I think there might be, actually. So the next video for this is, yeah, taking all those soutache bits, cutting those out of fabric, and then trying to do some soutache. So I'll probably do some test pieces as well. We'll see how we go. I also think that they might not be out of this fabric that the rest of the Victorian outfit is actually made out of. I think I might go with drill, both because if I stuff it up, then I've got more drill I can use, but also the drill will actually give a visual contrast for those panels as well, which I think will be fun. So yeah, so that's the next, that's the plan. How's this project gonna go? I really don't know. Anyway, join me here on this channel to find out. If you haven't subscribed, do consider clicking that subscribe button. It's free and it absolutely helps the channel to be shared. Thank you for joining me here. You can find me on the various socials where I'm very bad at posting, but sometimes I absolutely do. Probably Threads and Mastodon are the places you can find me the most at the moment. But yes, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Icy, and I will see you next time. Bye.